How's it going? Welcome into this live webinar. We're going to really talk about, really dive into the Analyst Hub. So looking forward to showing you a range of best practices around how we're using it internally, like how I am using it on a daily basis when I'm working inside of Power BI, and also how some of our customers are using it as well. So we can really talk through a range of examples and a range of ways that you can actually utilize it. So we'll just get the call set up here. So just give me a second while I'm just sorting out who's on the call. If you are on the call, just let me know in the chat. We're using our technology called Restream here, which usually is pretty good. Sometimes it can play up a little bit. But I'm just working across my screens here, just making sure everything's working. So it seems okay for now. Just let me know if you're experiencing any issues, but it looks okay. We'll wait a few more 30 seconds or so, and then we'll dive into it. Hey Greg, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. So for today's session, I honestly do not know how long it will take. It will really depend, I think, on how interactive it is. So I've got a little bit of an outline around how I want to, what I want to talk about. Just really talk about the Analyst Hub, bit of background to it, how you can use it, and then some of the best practices around how we are actually setting it up internally, so that you can, try and do something similar if that suits you, or at least it's going to give you a few ideas around how you could use it yourself. I'll just bring this in a little bit closer. Cool. Okay. So what is the Analyst Hub? The Analyst Hub is a productivity and collaboration tool that we've developed in-house at Enterprise DNA. So it's totally it's a new sort of concept that we're bringing to Power BI, and how we came up with it was purely just from my own ideas. Like when I obviously work in Power BI and have done for many years now, quite extensively, and there was always like these missing gaps that I thought that if we could somehow automate them, or somehow build a tool that could help you do certain things within Power BI, it would improve the productivity and collaboration around how you actually implement Power BI within an organization. And so I really dreamt these up in my mind. I thought of all the different things that I wanted, and then I said, okay, let's go for it. Let's build a piece of software that can do it all. And that's how the Analyst Hub was created. Okay. Now let's jump into it. I'll just share my screen so we can have a look at it as well. Cool. Hopefully you can see that, and I can zoom in as well with my. Just make sure that you can actually see that. Yep, I think you can. Cool. Okay, so I'm actually in the COE portal here, but the Analyst Hub. Okay, so and the other thing about the Analyst Hub, we have been developing on it like crazy for the last number of months, and finally I feel like we've developed it to a point that I'm truly happy. Like, it's been a almost 6-month process to get us to where we are now, but I feel like the updates that we've made now make it incredibly compelling, especially with some of the communication and collaboration stuff we've added really recently. So what's how is it structured? Okay, so for those of you who don't know, we've got the app space, Analyst Hub Apps. Okay, so the Analyst Hub has a range of different apps that can support your Power BI development from a productivity perspective, but also a collaboration perspective. We also have a community space where you can leverage off what others are doing in the Analyst Hub. So it's like a social feed, right? A social feed of all of the different apps, what everyone's doing in the apps, and you can choose to submit it publicly, and then it becomes a part of the community documents, and then you can actually leverage, you can actually see what others are doing, get inspired, utilize their formulas, utilize their color palettes, see what they're doing from their design and their designs, and leverage off those, so on and so forth. And there's a few other things as well. There's ways you can like productivity apps as well that you can leverage off as well. And internally, we are actually putting a range of different templates in this community space as well. So you can scroll down and you can just see a whole range of things. I mean, we're just putting up everything that we think can inspire and also help with Power BI development is going into this community space alongside all the templates that we're putting up as well. So you'll see here that we've got Analyst Hub templates that we're putting in. Okay, so this is huge. This is the social network aspect of the Analyst Hub. Recently, and this is the most recent thing we've done, we've also added the hub, and now this is huge, right? Because, and it'll make, you'll certainly see it when we discuss like teams and projects. But here within the hub is how you can communicate really effectively with those in the community, but also those in your team. So you'll see here that I'm in one of my teams that I've created, and I have a chat within the Analyst Hub just for my team, and my team can see exactly what I'm doing within all of the team documents. Okay, so this is huge as well. Okay, so documents is again part of the apps, right? So every app you can save a document, and the documents can either be saved into the community, as I said, but they can also be saved privately and within your team. So you can set up different teams, and documents can be associated to that team. And I'm going to show you some of the best practices around how we set this up, which I think is going to make it a lot clearer around how I think you should structure it as well, and how you can align it to what you're doing inside Power BI. Okay, then we have teams, and so this is where you can set up different teams. And so you'll see here that I've got 3 different teams at the moment that I've set up. But you think about how this could work internally within your own organization. You could have it set up, your finance team, your marketing team, your analytics team. You can be in multiple teams as well. So it's totally flexible, and that's what I was really big on making sure that we actually enabled that within here, that there was a lot of flexibility. There wasn't sort of one way you did things. You could sort of do it in many different ways, however you wanted to do it. Okay, and then within your teams, you can set up projects, right? So another layer that you can bring in. And again, this is some of the best practices I want to talk about, but just from a broad perspective, you can set up specific projects within your teams. Okay, so that's really, in summary, what it is. So you can see that this has become pretty comprehensive, right? There is a lot going on now in behind the scenes, all the different apps, the documents you can create, the way that you can put them into your into the community and see the sort of social network aspect of the app, the hub, the communication part of it, and then organization around your teams and your projects. So this is all going to sit, like, what's the point in all this? It all sits alongside and optimizes what you're doing in Power BI from an individual productivity perspective, but also a collaboration perspective in terms of rolling out Power BI within your organization, large or small. It can really help with everything that you're doing with Power BI. Okay. Now, any questions? Any questions on that so far? And then I can just go into some of the setup here, because I think that's where there's definitely ways that you can optimize how you work within Analyst Hub and how you set it up, and it's going to make what you do inside of Power BI far more effective, right? Far more efficient. And I can walk through some examples of how I think you can do that more effectively, or how you can organize yourself more effectively. Okay, so nothing so far, but please just shout out if you've got any thoughts or any questions. Happy to divert at any time. Okay, so if you're working individually and you're using Analyst Hub by yourself, I think there's not as much setup, I would say, that you need to do. You can just jump in, start using the DAX cleanup, the Mcode, and the raw code. Okay, I'll go into each of these individual apps in a second, but first I want to show how you can potentially set this up within an organization just to streamline what you're doing with your Power BI implementation. Okay, for this though, I'm going to jump to Power BI, because we've always got to relate it back to Power BI. That's the key here. Okay, what we're looking at here is actually the brand new learning map that we've created. So this is an exciting new model and application that we've built for those in the community. So you can actually get a customized learning plan, for your learning journey, or like your learning guide throughout all of our content. So this is pretty cool. But anyway, in terms of like how I would set up Power BI, and then how this relates to the Analyst Hub. Okay. Now, I think that there has historically been a lot of confusion about what a workspace is and how to set up a workspace. Okay. This is how I believe you should do it. you should break down your workspaces based on the apps that you want to create, okay? So as you know, the apps, you can only create one app per workspace, okay? And just think about what your apps would be. Apps are a consolidation of a range of different reports that would be put in front of a certain stakeholder or a certain business area within an organization, right? So generally, I think apps are going to be created based on like a business function, right? You might have finance, you might have marketing, you might have operations, you might have sales, you might have something else, you might have customers. However you break this up, that's the way that you want to, that's how you want to align your workspaces, or however you break down key areas within your business is how you want to align your workspaces, in my view. You could, depending on the size of your organization, you could obviously have a lot more workspaces because you would maybe drill down into specific areas in a business function. So for example, marketing, there could be multiple arms of marketing, right? You could have digital marketing, you could have radio, like you could have print marketing. And so these could be different divisions. But again, if there is a certain sort of stakeholder that sits up the top of that and would want to have a look at an app that shows all of the key insights within that particular area, then you probably want to create a workspace for that particular group, right? And then within your workspaces where you're going to place that's how you're going to segment out your teams who are going to be working on certain analytics for that specific workspace. And then within that specific workspace, you're probably going to have a range of different reports or a range of different projects that are going to ultimately become a report in Power BI. Okay, so does that make sense? Like, this is how I would honestly really look to set up workspaces. I've got a few sort of ancillary workspaces here that I don't really use anymore that I'm got to delete, but how we've done it internally is we've broken it down by how I ultimately want to create, what I ultimately want to create apps for. Right, so customers, we want an app on our customers, we want an app on our finance, we want an app for all of our internal products that we're building, like the learning map, marketing, operations, sales. These are sort of the main ones. We've also got one for web showcase, which is our showcases page. So all of these sort of make sense intuitively around what ultimately the app is going to be, okay? And there might be multiple different reports for finance, for marketing, for operations, but they're all going to flow up to one app ultimately. Okay, so how does that then relate to the Analyst Hub? Well, obviously you have your teams, right? Your teams can sit above these different workspaces. Some of you could be in different teams, right? But projects, I believe, is where you want to divide out. Well, in our case, it was quite simple, right? Because we've got one group of developers. So everyone is going to be in the, who is a developers in the Enterprise DNA Devs team. And then within all of these, within this team, we've broken down our projects. And our projects directly align with what is in our workspaces, okay? Because all of the planning and all of the, there's no like planner tools or anything that can help your collaboration or productivity inside of Power BI here, right? And so if you can break down your workspaces in a similar way to how you have them in Power BI, well, then you can use all of the great apps, all of the great supporting apps that we've created in the Analyst Hub and align documents into those specific projects that align to workspaces, okay? So this is how I believe you should set up the Analyst Hub to directly align it with what you're doing inside of Power BI. As we know, and we've seen this, I've seen this so many times, Power BI can honestly become a mess if you just do not have this set up correctly. Everyone goes off and does their own thing. They're in silos, just like with Excel. So you want to create a bit of standardization in how it's set up here. And probably you want to do that from a central analytics team. And then on top of that, if you can align the Analyst Hub to what you've done inside of Power BI, it's also going to be able to, you're going to leverage off the apps we've created and the implementation of what you're doing inside of Power BI is going to be far more effective, okay? So for example, in my team's enterprise DNA, I'm in the enterprise DNA devs team, as you can see down the bottom here, right? And I've got projects that align with all of those different workspaces. I've got a couple of other ones, but they're going to ultimately be integrated into some of these other ones. But you see here that I've got customers, I've got internal products, I've got sales, finance, marketing, operations, etc. Right? And so if I click into, say, internal products, this is where I can see all of the documents that align with the work that I'm doing in that specific workspace inside of Power BI, right? Any questions at this point? Anyone have any thoughts? What I'll do is I'll just make sure that you've all got a link to the Analyst Hub, so you know what I'm talking about here. I'll just put that in the chat. Okay, so how you divvy up your teams could depend a lot on how like large your organization is. If you've got a lot of different business functions, a lot of different people, like some of our customers, then your teams might be, you might have quite an extensive array of teams. Like you might have, you know, again, it might be likely broken down by business function. But the great thing also is that someone within a centralized analytics team can sit above all of these and be in each of those teams and see exactly what is going on within the Analyst Hub now. So you can sort of see how planning is going. You can see how the workflow of Power BI development is happening within your organization. The hub is kind of like the heartbeat of what is actually going on. And if you're, say, in your central analytics team, you'll be able to see exactly who's joining, what they're doing exactly, how the communication is going, how the collaboration is going. You can even send out messages throughout your organization about Power BI, specifically about your Power BI initiatives, really easily in the Analyst Hub, right? Because maybe you want to create a team where everyone in your who is working or who has a Power BI license, they can be in one of those teams. And then you can then break out your different teams for all the different projects or all the different areas within your organization as well. And then with all those different areas, you can have specific projects that people are working on. So it's pretty cool. Like, I'm really proud of how we've developed this and where it's got to, because it can really just sit alongside everything you're doing with Power BI, basically document everything that you're doing. It can really boost your collaboration. Everyone can be on the same page in terms of what everyone else is doing. And some of these things are really difficult, right? But if you really embed yourself in the Analyst Hub alongside Power BI, you can have full visibility about what is going on. You can really leverage off what others are doing. You can really scale what you are doing from a implementation perspective inside of Power BI and with your entire analytics initiatives, really. Okay, so what do we want to talk about next? Let's go into some of these apps, right? Okay, so let's dive into some of these apps. So any questions, just shout out. Let's just do a quick review first. So we've got, as I say, we've got some productivity apps, but also some collaboration apps, right? So we have the DAX cleanup tool, Mcode repository, and raw code. These are all of our coding and code documentation tools. So you can clean up your code, but also save all of your code. And I cannot tell you how extensively I use this. Like when I'm working in Power BI now, I hardly ever write out formula, like literally never. Every formula pattern that I generally use, I just use from one of the documents that is saved here. And I'll go into some of these in a second. We also have the color theme generator, which is really easy to use to create color themes. A lot of you are asking, oh, how can I use my custom company color theme? The thing to do is get your color theme, upload it as an image, and then the image this is going to automatically create your theme. And then what you can do is you can save the theme and then pass around this as a document to all of your organization, right? So that's how I would do it. Then we have Power BI portfolio, so a way to share where your reports are at, or just share your Power BI reports within your teams. And then we have some planner tools. So we've got Analytics Planner, we've got a Priorities Matrix, a data model planner, which is really crucial, and a data pipeline planner. And these are not just planners. These also are really documentation. So a way for you to document really quickly what's going on in your model. Okay. We also have created this nice little app that can create a video playlist for you. So there's obviously a lot of content, especially on YouTube, around Power BI. So we allow you to create just absolutely customized playlists that you might want to refer back to over time. And then we have our bot, which helps you out based on the questions you ask. And we have a knowledge base as well that you can go to quickly. And there's a few other apps that we're adding soon, but this is already pretty comprehensive. Okay, so in terms of like how to simply use some of these apps here, right? So let's just jump back to a model here, and I'll show you the DAX cleanup tool. So there's quite a few functions in here. Let me just choose one at random. Okay, so this is a pretty simple formula, but I'm just going to show you how you can just generally use the DAX cleanup tool. Okay, so I've grabbed this formula, right? And this could be any formula. And then I come to the DAX cleanup tool, and then all I do is I paste it in here, right? And then I go format. Okay, and it automatically formats it for you. But that's not all. You can do lots more, right? You can come in here and you can edit it within this particular application, right? Okay, so say I wanted to do some changes like this. I can do that very easily, right? And then I can commit it back. I can then copy the code into my model really quickly, but I can also save the formula, right? And this is how I personally have added all my formulas, and I just reuse them over and over again, like my cumulative total, my events in progress, my dynamic grouping, my static grouping, my parameter tables, my scenario analysis. All of this is now loaded into the Analyst Hub, and I don't need to actually write it out anymore. I just need to copy and paste it in, and then maybe adjust a few parameters, right? And it's literally, as easy as I come in here, I copy the code, I push copy the code, come back in here and paste it in. Okay, so you can do this while you're developing, but you can also do this as a way to clean up your model really quickly as well, right? Now, if I just show you what you can do with a community here, okay, so see I've got part of the community, and you'll see that we have currently about 340 different DAX formula patterns loaded up into the community area, right? So I can click on this, and you'll see that these are all DAX formula. And so say I wanted to maybe search for events. Let's have a look. Let's just try to search for something. I'll type progress. Oh, okay, so we've got a sales in progress pattern here. So I can open the document, and you'll see that this pattern is already formatted for me. I literally can copy the code and then put it into my model. This is exactly what I do. And it is so powerful, just being able to literally document and save all of your different formulas. I mean, it is literally crazy how much time this saves you, right? And as we know, so many of the advanced analytics that you do is just patterns, right? It's just literally patterns of formula. Like, it's generally, like I don't write out very complicated formulas myself anymore. Like I just don't need to. If you set up your model correctly, optimize your data, you can just use patterns and find incredibly interesting insights really, really quickly. Okay, so that's DAX code. But we also have Mcode, so you can do this for Mcode, and you can do this for raw code as well. And so you'll see some examples of Mcode here. One of the ones I use all the time is the custom date. So there's all of these different date formulas that you can use, or date functions you can use. So let's have a look. Melissa's got one here. No, that's not the one. So there's the custom date query, extended date table. So this is one that, like, every model I use, this is the most comprehensive date table. So I just literally come in here and copy it out of here and copy it into my advanced editor inside of Power BI. Now the same for raw code. So those who use, say, R or Python, we've got ability to save R code. So I'll just go into a few. So you see here that Brian is an extensive user of R, inside of Power BI, and is actually creating a course on for our platform very, very soon. And so you can see here, and there's a few others as well. So let's jump into this. And so this is, I believe, R code. Yeah. And again, you can use this as a way to create a repository of all of your code there, and then quickly copy it into your models as well. So again, really going to speed things up, and we're trying to use the community. You can leverage off the community to learn about like how to even use these functions and how to put them into your own models, etc. And so within each of these documents, so let's go into, let's have a look at the raw code. Let's jump into here. You can actually start a discussion. So you can start, you can like it, but you can start a discussion, and Brian is going to see that communication. Thanks for this example. So I can go post comment, right? And you'll see that this now we can now discuss it here. So similar to like how, you know, threads, right? Threads in sort of Reddit or YouTube or chat in YouTube. So you can actually discuss it here. And the other great thing is if you come to the hub, this will actually show up in the hub. And this was huge for me. We wanted to make sure there was much greater collaboration, right? So you'll see Sam has just left a comment. And so so Brian can come in, he'll see that. He'll get a notification about it. You'll also get a notification up here, but then others can communicate it on as well. Sorry, my Siri is just shouting. Cool, yeah, so that's great. Thanks for the feedback. Yeah, look, I honestly feel like what we've built here is really, really incredible, right? And yeah, it's just I've got to make sure that we're all using it in as best practice a way as possible, right? And if you know, these are only some of the applications. There's more applications we haven't even gone into. So in terms of like verification, we don't really verify anything here, right? So anyone can put, and this is how I want it to be for now. We might have some like approved templates in the future, but at the moment, really anyone can put anything in the community documents, and it's up to you to utilize them as you like. Because what you can do is you can copy these into your own documents. Okay, so say you find something that you really like. So say I really like a particular, so I really love this this report here by Mcode, right? This is a report by Mcode that he created in one of the Power BI challenges, and I want to save this down for inspiration. Any of the documents you can copy into your own documents, right? So I can come in here. That didn't work actually. That one didn't particularly work. Maybe there's something not right there. But let's try this one here. Okay, so I can copy this, and what it allows me to do is I can duplicate the document. So I can kind of say, okay, RGB codes examples. Okay, I can save this as a team document. If I switch that on, I can save it as a community document as well if I really want to, but it's already there, so I don't really need to. If I don't select any of these, it's just going to be saved into my private. It'll be saved into my private documents in whatever team I'm in at the moment. So I'll go save. Okay. And this is how you can organize your own documents however you like, right? So then if I come into my own documents here, and you see that currently I'm in the team, but I didn't save it as a team. I saved it as a private. Not sure what's going on here, but it should obviously it would be saved in here. Maybe my computer's just running a little bit slow because of all the applications I've got on at the moment. got up on my screen. But yeah, it would be saved in here basically. So you can, out of the community documents, you can save any of in theory, you can save any of these into your own documents, right? So I'll have to see why this isn't updating, but there's probably some little glitch or something like that. But you also have what's called a personal space, and so you can actually play around in here and not have it be part of any team or any private area in a team. You can have it as your personal documents, right? And so in here, I've got a whole range of, this is where I have all my own patterns and things like that I just save down in my own personal space, and I just use them to quickly create my reports in a lot of cases. I don't know if I've created any projects. I created a testing project. I did it once upon a time. Okay, cool. So I showed you the color themes as well. So the color themes is a really simple and easy to use app. Power BI portfolio. So this Power BI portfolio app is how you can create. It's a great way to showcase like where you are at in a Power BI development, so everyone on your team knows, and also where like what the finished product looks like, and also like all the sort of inspiration within your organization, right? So I can come in here and you'll see here that this is, if I click on this, you can get inspiration or just see where current Power BI portfolios are at. Because sometimes as you're developing inside of Power BI within an organization, you don't want to go and publish your report as it is currently, right? This is a way for you to, this is one way that you can just say and document your progress by quickly creating some images of your Power BI report and then pasting them into the Analyst Hub, and everyone's going to know where you're at, right? Okay, so quick question here, which I think is a good one. So there's 3 levels of libraries: private, teams, and community. Yep, exactly. That's exactly right. So a lot of flexibility. That was one of the big things I wanted to do within the application, is build in a lot of flexibility so you can use it in many different ways. There's no one way, no one right way to use it. There's many ways that you could ultimately use it. Okay, now I want to go just quickly. I want to go into some of the planner apps that we have created, right? So I'm going to quickly go to my team space. I'm going to go to my devs. I want to showcase to you some of the planner apps, and this is a great way to just plan out your Power BI deployment, your Power BI implementation, or just like your individual development as well, right? And so we have a range of these different apps here. So we've got the Analytics Planner, we have the Priorities Matrix, Data Model Planner, and Data Pipelines Planner. Okay, so I'll show you how we have utilized some of these internally. So within specific projects, so if I jump to my let's jump to internal products. No, actually, I want to jump to another one. Right, okay, so within our customers, remember this is aligned to a workspace, right? And so what I did before, this is like the first thing we do within, before we sort of do anything, is we create sort of a planner that outlines exactly how we want to approach this particular workspace, okay? And so I listed initially down here all of the things that we have planned, right? So subscription revenue, teachable analysis, email marketing analysis, and then I've created, like, this is just a Kanban, a really simple Kanban tool. And what you can do is you can obviously very easily set up what you want to do. And then within each of these different boxes, you can add other analysis. So analysis on users and their enrollment patterns. Right, so we can add things here. We can also add comments down here. The team, where are we up to? Right, so this is how within our team, like within our project in this specific team, we can now get alignment on like what is actually happening. And now if I come to the hub, you'll see that those updates would show as notifications for everyone in this team, right? So you see here, I've just left a comment on the eDNA Customers Planner. Go check it out. So everyone, you would receive a notification bell next to within the hub, and then everyone would know, okay, well, let's go and have a chat about where we're at in this particular workspace. So so just think about this more broadly, like why do we actually do this? Well, none of this is visible inside of Power BI. Like there's no way to know what others are doing inside of here. And so the Analyst Hub is that connection. It's that connection between, it's that sort of collaboration piece of your analytics initiatives that you can't do inside of Power BI. Power BI obviously is amazing for distribution of your insights, for obviously it's just an amazing tool just generally for analytics, but in terms of just like organization, getting alignment, etc., the Analyst Hub is the key for that, right? And all of the updates that we build into the Analyst Hub are key for that in the future. Okay, so that's just one example. We also have a more detailed one here. Let's go into marketing, for example. Okay, so in marketing, I have a similar sort of thing where we've got all of our different, and these templates are available in the community, by the way. We are basically out publishing everything that we are doing internally, so that you can basically just copy the framework and the best practices around how we're actually doing things. And so here we have a whole range of insights planned, and these are basically all the reports that we want to go into this specific workspace, right? So we're going to have a website analytics, Google search traffic insights, YouTube analytics, backlink analytics, competitor analysis, keyword and SEO insights, and we have email analytics, right? So this is one we're currently working on. We can write some additional notes in here. We can create some discussion within here, and obviously you can discuss in multiple different areas, and it will obviously all go back to the hub, so everyone will know what you're doing. Okay. Then also within this particular workspace, where are we? So we're going to go projects, marketing. We also have used two of the other apps. So here is what is called the Data Pipelines app, and here is the Prioritization Matrix. Okay, so let's have a look in here first. Okay, so here is a really simple planner tool, documenter tool, where you can outline all the different data sources that you think are going to go and be used within, in this particular case, within this specific workspace, right? Because remember, within your workspaces, you can create Power BI data sets, you can create data flows now. And so just planning out all of the different data sources and documenting how they are and collaborating with your team on what they need is really essential, right? Because then you can scale up your development inside of your Power BI models. If you don't do this, I know this is exactly what happens in organizations. There's massive overlap. There's massive duplication of effort. There's always duplication of hitting data sources, overloading databases, etc. And so with a little bit of planning, you can improve the scalability of your Power BI deployment like you wouldn't believe. And this is what this particular tool is for, right? You can plan out all of the different data sources. You can collaborate with your team. It obviously all feeds into the hub, so you can continue your discussions about it. And then that's going to set up your actual Power BI report development so much better, right? Because there's going to be a lot of common data sets that go into specific workspaces, right? Like in marketing, like what's going to be a common data set? Well, customers, right? So if you plan out it all in the data pipelines, well, then all of these different models are not going to have like the same different customer data tables or data sets, right? Because you could ultimately, in the customer's workspace here, you could create a data flow which has the one customer table, and that data flow could be used in all of those different reports within that workspace. Totally optimizes what you're doing in here from an enterprise perspective. Okay, so that's that one. Hopefully this is making sense, right? Like all of these things were really thought of quite deeply, and the implementation of them, I think, is really, really good now. Like it's taken us a while to get here, but in terms of how this connects into what you're doing in Power BI, it is really superior. Like there is no better way now, I believe, to boost your collaboration, to boost the productivity and organization around what you're doing inside of Power BI. Let me know what you think. Like, let me know if you think otherwise or if you agree. I'm really interested to hear. Okay, another app, while you're thinking of a question or some feedback, another app is our Prioritization Matrix. And so this is another really simple way to just list out, okay, what are all of the things we want to do in all of our different reports, and just list them out, right? List all the insights and think about how you could collaborate within your org around this, right? You could have your managers get input here. You could, you could basically just continue to chat away about what is important for this workspace, for the insights here. And here you can prioritize, and this is totally customizable. You can prioritize here what you should attack first based on the value, based on what it's going to take to actually get this done. Okay, so another great tool there. Okay, so now I want to just show you an example of the data model planner. Let's see if I can find a good example here. Model planner. So this is a relatively new app. Let's have a look what's in here. Okay, so someone's using this already. So yeah, really cool, right? So this is just a way to plan out your model. And you could have one model for each different report, or you could have like one model, honestly, for an entire workspace if you just plan it out really, really well. I mean, this is a great way to sort of plan it out. All of this is customizable. You can add lots of different things in here. I'm sure there's probably a lot more use of this particular app within Analyst Hub. It's just not many people want to make them community documents. That's probably the key, right? So if I come in here, let's have a look, see if I've got one. So I created one in here, COE reporting. So this was just a quick mock-up of all of the different lookup tables, fact tables, measure groups, and supporting tables. So this is just a really customizable thing that you can come in and you can do whatever you like here. A lot of ways that you can customize this, and a lot of notes that you can create, right? So let's see if I add something here. I can say, okay, this is because this was for our Center of Excellence customers. We're creating some specific reporting for them, right? And so like a user, let's just add something totally random, user data, okay? And I'll just turn that into a color. Now, if everyone, to keep everyone informed, just come to the hub. This should show up. You see here that I've just updated the pipeline planner document with the team titled Infos DNA Marketing Pipelines. Actually, no, that's not the one I just did. Did that save? Let's have a look. Maybe I need to do something else here. I'm not sure. Just updated. I can add a comment here, and let's see, this should trace back now to the hub. So let's have a look. Yep. Okay, so now it's some new updates while demoing, keeping a demo of a webinar. So really seamless way to communicate. I mean, I love the connection now between the hub and everything else. There was really limited visibility over what everyone in your team was doing inside the Analyst Hub until we introduced this new feature called the hub, and now it just brings it all together. So it's huge. Okay, so question. Is there a way to visualize in the data pipeline to distinguish between global data source and specific data source just for the project? Absolutely, and you can totally customize it however you like, right? So how I would probably do that is you could just use different colors, right? So just different colors here. I mean, you can totally customize it however you like. Maybe add some comments around how you're using it. Yeah, really, really easy. So we'd just take a little bit of communication and collaboration with those around you just to make sure everyone's on the same page. But I mean, there's many different ways that you can sort of document within the app itself, right? So you can come in here and, it's a different color. Why is it a different color? Well, we could say in here, this is a global data set. And then details about it, right? Details about it here. Right, and then that will save, and then that will be known as a global data set. So there's that flexibility has been built in, which I really, really like. Okay, and then let's just see. No, it doesn't. You have to sort of leave leave a comment or something, or do something a bit more detailed for it to appear here. But that's something that we can work on. It should really track everything that everyone's doing so that you've got a complete heartbeat of what's actually going on. Okay, so look, I think I've sort of gone on for 45 minutes here, which is pretty comprehensive about the Analyst Hub. So hopefully you've enjoyed it. I can just really open up to all questions now, and then if there isn't, I'll answer them. And then once we get to the end of that, we'll round off the session. Definitely check out if you haven't got the Analyst Hub now, check out the Analyst Hub homepage. And you'll find out a lot of details there. You can also trial the Analyst Hub. So definitely jump in. We offer a 7-day free trial to use absolutely everything. So give it a go. Like there's nothing stopping you from giving it a go. It's completely free, and then you can decide if you want to upgrade. And look, it is not an expensive product as well. We offer a really good sale for those who take part in the trial, so definitely give that a go. But also, it's less than, I think it's about $20 a month, right? So if $17 a month if you pay annually. So it's not an expensive product. We want to make this as widely used as possible. The other thing to note, though, which is great about the Analyst Hub, is we include it in the Center of Excellence. So if your organization wants to partner with Enterprise DNA via our Center of Excellence, the Analyst Hub is included in that, right? So you get absolutely everything that we have, including our Learning Center, our showcases, events, forum, forum support, but you also get the Analyst Hub and many other things. But these are sort of the core things that you get access to. And the Analyst Hub is a huge part of that. So definitely get in touch if this is something that your organization you think would really benefit from. I'm very convinced that you would. You would see a lot of benefit. And we can look to structure a Center of Excellence plan around what your requirements are. Cool, and I really appreciate this feedback. I'm glad that you can sort of see the vision and see how big a difference this can actually make to your Power BI deployment. I truly believe in what we've done here. We've put a lot of investment and resource into it, and really proud of where it's got to. And we're still improving it. Honestly, we're still improving it. Little bit by little bit, but the big part of it, I think, is we're finally there. Like in terms of how we've got the social aspect, the communication aspect, the teams, the projects, all that stuff took a lot of time to figure out how to implement and how to actually get it working. And so it's now working pretty well, and you can get a lot of value out of this now, and we're starting to see it being used. We can see how widely used it's being now because of the hub chat. We can sort of see everyone who's joining. I mean, it's becoming really, really popular, which is awesome. We can see everything that everyone is doing in a lot of cases if it's sort of public in a public way. And so we can sort of see the traction's really, really growing fast, which I'm really, really proud of. Okay. Last questions, and then we'll round off today. Okay, feel free to certainly reach out if you've got any follow-up questions post the event, or if you're just watching the replay. Yeah, happy to answer those. But thanks for tuning in. Thanks for attending. Really enjoyed talking about the Analyst Hub. It's something that I have really put my mind to well over a year now, and really, really pleased with where it's at. So I love demonstrating how you can get a lot of value out of it. Okay, take care, and wishing you all the best. Have a good week. See you later.